A revolution has been unfolding across some of London's key rail routes over the last decade. Many new classes have been debuted by various train operating companies in an effort to improve punctuality and general efficiency for the capital's commuters. One family of new trains in particular has been catching the eye since their introduction in the form of the Desiro City electric multiple units. They've been gracing London's rails since 2016 and are now a familiar sight across the network. Here, we cover all of the different classes, their past, present and future workings as we profile the Desiro City range. This video also owes a huge debt of thanks to two fellow channels who very kindly provided permission for use of some footage. These are the brilliant Boom Train Spots and the sensational To The Trains YouTube channels. Make sure you visit them after watching this video and subscribe to them for more excellent factual rail content. Without any further delay, let's get started. Let's look at the origins of the fleet. They are an evolution of the wider Siemens Desiro range and have been developed by Siemens Mobility. The wider Siemens Desiro range covers a worldwide geographical spread, with rolling stock present in just over 15 countries across Europe, North America and Asia. The Desiro UK diesel and electric trains have been gradually rolled out since the turn of the millennium. These include the likes of the Class 185s operated by TransPennine Express, the Class 350 range operated by London North Western Railway, the Class 380 range operated by ScotRail, and the Class 450 and 444 units operated by South Western Railway, among others. If you'd like to see a video profiling the wider Desiro UK range, let me know in the comments. Now it's time to focus on the introduction of the Desiro City range. Siemens began development of the range in 2009 following a 2-year research consultation programme. This consultation included feedback from passengers, train crews and maintenance workers. The different EMU classes that make up the range were built for high-capacity commuter traffic, with a number of improvements being made on past Desiro designs, including reduced weight and greener energy usage. There are 3 classes within the range. These are the well-established Thameslink Class 700s, the Class 707 units ran by South Western Railway, which are slowly migrating over to South Eastern, and the Class 717 units run under the Great Northern banner. An eye-popping £1.6 billion order for the 115 Class 700 units was originally ordered in 2011, thus marking the genesis of this family of trains. In total, 170 Desiro City units have been built across all of the respective classes. They were all constructed at the Siemens Mobility Works in Krefeld, Germany. Now let's take a closer look at the Class 700s. These units first entered service across the Thameslink routes in 2016. They were born as a result of a wider activation known as the Thameslink Programme, a scheme aimed at increasing capacity, both in terms of its actual trains and its wider railway infrastructure, at a cost of around £6 billion in total. For more information on the programme and Thameslink in general, click the link above to watch a video which covers 101 facts about Thameslink. They've been billed by Siemens as the world's first second-generation fully digitally enabled train in passenger service. The 700/0 subclass are made up of 8 carriages. 60 of these have been built in total. The 700/1 class is made up of 12 vehicles to cover longer distances. 55 of these have been produced. After replacing older classes such as the Class 319, they are the only form of motive power currently operated by the Govia Thameslink Railway Company's Thameslink specific brand at the time of making this video. Their initial introduction wasn't without some British political controversy, with Siemens becoming the preferred bidder and the construction of the units taking place in Germany. This meant that a competing consortium led by Bombardier Transportation would miss out on building the units at a UK base. This caused some delays to the final contractual agreements. However, the formalities were finally completed in 2013. The first official train in service was unit number 700-108, forming the 1002 service from Brighton to London Bridge on the 20th of June 2016. Prior to their debut, a mock-up unit was put on display at the Excel Centre and at some Thameslink stations. Here's the mock-up. And now, here's the real thing, 700-001, seen pulling into Maze Hill on the Greenwich line. A key feature of the diversity of the units is their ability to run across both third rail and overhead wire electrification, which in turn expands their route availability considerably. The units all boast a top speed of 100 miles per hour. All of the 8-car and 12-car sets boast continuous gangways throughout the units, one of their principal means of greater capacity. Whilst they do boast a more modern look and their efficiency isn't in question, there have been some criticisms around their interior design. Despite the increased capacity, passengers have commented that the units actually have fewer seats than the units they replaced. Whilst the additional standing room allows for larger numbers throughout the central London commuter belt, passengers embarking on the longer journeys from the likes of Peterborough and Brighton have criticised this move. Another point of contention is the infamous ironing board style seating and their lack of padding. There are conflicting reports over their installation. One suggests that the lack of padding was to meet fire regulations, while another report suggests it was actually a cost-cutting measure. The units also came into service originally without Wi-Fi connectivity and folding tables. However, these are gradually being retrofitted to the units. Despite the criticisms, these units look set to dominate Thameslink metals for years to come. 2 units have been given special livery designs. 700-155 sports this simple yet elegant Pride livery. Meanwhile, 700-111 has been given a special NHS appreciation livery, showing support for the NHS and essential key workers during the global pandemic. So far, the only other livery change in their working lives has been the addition of an updated Thameslink logo. However, some interesting concept art shows some other interesting variations, as seen here. Though there are no current plans to build new members of the class, the amount of mileage they cover may expand. For instance, there are plans being drawn up by Thameslink to introduce a new service from Cambridge to Maidstone East. There's also the possibility of a new Thameslink 2 line being constructed. The independent Rail Future organisation is campaigning for a new link, connecting the Brighton main line to routes via the likes of Canary Wharf and Stratford in East London. Another implementation includes the introduction of automatic train operation. Already a feature on some London Underground lines, this technological advancement via the Thameslink Programme could be a glimpse into the future of another evolution of rail travel as we know it. This will allow trains to operate with a tube-like frequency of every 2 to 3 minutes through the famous Thameslink core between St Pancras and Blackfriars. The fleets are primarily maintained at depots in Hornsey and 3 Bridges. These depots were actually built as part of the original rolling stock supply contract. Before we get into the second half of the video, a quick reminder if you'd be so kind to smash the thumbs up button if you're enjoying this content so far, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss the first viewings of all new uploads on the channel. Next, we move on to the Class 707 units. 30 of these 5-car units were built from 2015. The first unit was delivered to UK shores in December 2016 and entered service in August 2017. Confusingly, they debuted for South West Trains, but the South Western franchise would be taken over by South Western Railway almost immediately after they debuted. Like the 700s, they also boast a continuous gangway to help aid the capacity increase. Some of the units were originally tested with both third rail and overhead electrification on part of the East Coast Main Line. Today, they run purely on the third rail electrification system, though they'll all have the ability to be modified for overhead contact again in future if required. They originally came into service between London Waterloo and Windsor and Eton Riverside, from Waterloo to Hounslow, and also Waterloo to Weybridge. Despite being such a new class, South Western Railway are already replacing them. With lower leasing costs becoming available, Class 701 Adventure sets will take over the Class 707's duties on their metals. As a result, the 707s are gradually being leased and transferred to South Eastern. The first members of the South Eastern Fleet debuted in September 2021. Under their new guises, they've been rechristened as City Beam trains running across the London and South East commuter belts. They are primarily running from the likes of Cannon Street and Charing Cross to the likes of Hayes, Orpington, Sevenoaks and Dartford among others. The South Eastern units have been given a makeover internally with new seating and new passenger information systems. Commuters yet to travel on these units will be delighted to know that Wi-Fi has been fitted across these units, though the dreaded ironing board seats are still present. Externally, they've also been decked out in South Eastern blue livery. Despite their Class 700 cousins running along part of the same routes, the 707s still had to be gauge cleared before they could be brought into service in their new surroundings. This was partly to make sure that the new trains could be sufficiently powered by the electrical currents. Like their Class 700 cousins, the 707s have a 100 mph top speed. They are replacing some of South Eastern's older fleet of Class 465s, some of which have been tucked away into storage. Click the link above for another train profiles video featuring this class. Now let's look at the newest member of the Desiro City family. The Class 717 first came into full service with Great Northern in 2019. Great Northern is of course part of the Govia Thameslink Railway Company's banner. The GTR announced their order for the class in December 2015. There are 25 units in total, the smallest number of the different Desiro City classes to date. They are formed of 6 car sets and run on their lonesome. They were primarily ordered to replace the 40-year-old Class 313 trains on services to and from Moorgate. The class they replaced were the oldest working electric trains on Britain's railways, with the exception of the ex-London Underground stock on the Isle of Wight. Those two have now been withdrawn. They provide 25% more capacity than the Class 313s, along with the additional benefits of being lighter and more energy efficient. The order came at another wallet-busting cost of £240 million. From Moorgate, the 717s run into Hertfordshire, to and from Stevenage, Hertford North and Welwyn Garden City. The first Class 717 entered service on the network on September 28, 2018, on something of a dry run, before the rest of the class followed them onto Great Northern Metals. Their top speed is slightly lower than that of their siblings, but still totals up to 85 miles per hour. They run on both third rail power, whilst running underground in the Moorgate tunnels, and overhead electrical power when out of the tunnels. There is one notable aesthetic difference on these units compared to their close cousins. This comes in the form of the emergency doors at each end of the trains. This safety measure was introduced because of their running through the deep level Moorgate tunnels. The continuous gangway and the infamous ironing board seats remain prevalent with this class, though there are plug sockets for most seats and Wi-Fi on board. Like the 707s, no first class seating exists and there are no toilets on board. Since their 2019 debut, passengers have been very pleased with their new trains. A study quoted on railengineer.co.uk cites that the passenger satisfaction on the route had increased by up to 22%. They are primarily stabled at Hornsey Depot. The class effectively completes a huge modernisation programme for the wider Govia Thameslink Railway Company, following on from the success of the Class 700s. They also mark the completion of the end of this chapter of the Desiro City class's impact on railways in and out of the capital. I hope you enjoyed this profile video about the Desiro City Fleet. If you found it interesting, then please hit us with a thumbs up, leave a comment and click subscribe for more rail-based content just like this. Check out the links at the end of this upload for more great videos from the channel. Take care and see you soon. Bye for now.